Well, hi everyone, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the Norisring for race 14 in the FIA Formula 3 Europe Championship. And the cars, as you can see, on track, ready to go racing. Their second race of 3 across this weekend, where the first race yesterday went the way of Maximilian Günther. And then it was Pedro Piquet and Guan Yu Zhou, the 1, 2, 3. And that means that Maximilian Günther now leads the points championship, 203 points. Plays at 196 for Joel Eriksson, who's P2 in the championship. Finished the race yesterday, P4. Now, we've had some rain overnight. Alongside me is top racing driver Alex Torrell. Track conditions from the moment we saw the track just a few seconds ago looks actually remarkably dry. So presumably it will be a dry track going forward.
Good morning, Dave. Exactly. We saw some shower. We had some showers during the night, but looks like the track is pretty much dry or pretty dry. So I think we'll have a normal race under dry conditions.
And certainly we can see on the Ralph Aron car, which is the pole sitter for High Tech Grand Prix. Slick tyres on that Ralph Aron car. He did a great job in qualifying yesterday. After their race 1, their only other track activity was a qualifying session, which sets the grid for this race and for race 3 to come as well. So Ralph Aron is P1, and going from P2 is Jake Hughes for High Tech GP. So there is Jake Hughes then, and very, very close to taking the win yesterday. Let's just recap on that race. It was a real battle between Jake Hughes and Lando Norris as we look now at Maximilian Günther, who is our points championship leader. Look, a focus on Maximilian Günther there. When a driver's eyes are closed like that, what's he doing? Visualizing what he's going to do, how he's going to start the opening lap?
Can be many things. I mean, you cannot go in a mind of area. Usually you try to memorize, to watch again on your mind the racetrack. Maybe you're thinking on the grid going in front of you, so it depends a little bit.
Stop it. Lando Norris. Now, Lando Norris and Jake Hughes had a phenomenal race yesterday, didn't they? You know, for virtually the entire race. Nice bit of camera art there for Jihan Daruvala, who is going P5 on the grid. Yes, back to that race yesterday. Hughes and Lando Norris was so close together. And in the end, there was just... yeah, and you called it absolutely right. Jake Hughes just lost the back end of the car a little bit. There was a little bit of contact from Lando Norris as a consequence. And it was an extraordinary end to the race, really, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was really pretty dramatic what we saw. And we were not expecting this. They were battling all the race, but it turned really quickly into the crash of Jake Hughes. We'll see what happened today. We hope that everyone stay on track and manage to keep the car clear.
Pedro Piquet did a good job in the race yesterday. He's done a good job in qualifying for Van Amersfoort Racing. He's going from P6. And there is Harrison Newey, also for Van Amersfoort Racing. And he's going from P7 on the grid. So reasonable qualifying for Harrison Newey. And Harrison then, final stages of preparation just before the race gets underway. Then we see the number 99 car of Nikita Mazepin for High Tech GP. So Nikita Mazepin going from P8 on the grid. This track, a mere 2.3 kilometers. It's a really short lap. And as you said during the race yesterday, it feels like a very long race because of the fact that it is such a short lap.
Yeah, exactly. We have the race yesterday was 38 laps, and same like you said, the race feels really long because they are really fast again on the start-finish line. They do many laps. The track is short. It's 2.3 kilometers, and as you said, it feels like forever.
Joel Eriksson then, not the qualifying that he would have wanted. Sees him down there, P10. So Joel Eriksson with some work to do from P10. He is still P2 in the championship. The Motopark driver then, Joel Eriksson, with the number 1 on the car. And just behind Joel Eriksson is this Prema Power Team driver, one Mr. Mick Schumacher, going from P11 on the grid. Schumacher then focused in the cockpit of this car. Good crowd already here to enjoy the first race action on track for the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. Then we see car number 53 of Callum Eilert, who regrettably didn't finish in race 1 yesterday. So Callum Eilert then with work to do today. 2 races to make amends for the DNF in race 1. Then we see David Beckman, Motopark, going from P13 on the grid. And behind Beckman is the Ferdinand Habsburg car. Ferdinand Habsburg, in the early stages of that qualifying session yesterday, looked very, very quick indeed.
Yeah, he was looking really strong. He was always in the top 5 positions, but we saw many drivers improve a lot in the last lap, in the last laps, and maybe he didn't manage to get that that lap together in the last stages of the qualifying, and now he dropped to P14.
And I mean, the margin between them is so small, isn't it, in terms of lap time, and when you're leaving your hot lap to the very, very final stages of that qualifying session, Alex, when everyone is out there on track, by dint of the fact that it is such a small track, you're always going to be mired in traffic, aren't you? So you can't kind of get that clean lap together. Yeah,
exactly. Norisring, it's really tricky because you need to try to use the toe of a front car as much as possible. But then you need to take care not to get into traffic or stuck into traffic. So it's really tricky. It's a bit of experience, luck to find your place. But like you said, you need to have an eye of this and also a little bit of luck to get that lap together.
We were just looking moments ago at the Joey Mawson car going from P16 on the grid. Now the Van Amersfoort engineers had a lot of work to do on that Joey Mawson car because that fell in love with one of the barriers, unfortunately, in race 1, didn't it? And there was a lot of work. And, the teams, whether it's Van Amersfoort, High-Tech, Carlin, Prema, teams have to work jolly hard engineering these cars. And of course, when there's damage like that we saw on the Joey Mawson car, a lot of work to be done to get that car back out and ready for both qualifying and for the next series of races.
Yeah, it's, like you said, it's a lot of work behind these cars. They are really technical. They are really hard to set up. And as you said, when you have a major crash like we saw yesterday with Joey Mawson into the wall, they have a lot of work to do and a lot of stuff to repair. But they are pretty professional and they know what to do, and they usually manage to get the car on time to be back on track.
Indeed, so that is the case as we have the full grid of cars then, as the final engineers leave the grid and the start sequence is about to get underway for these Formula 3 cars. It is race 2, P1 then, Ralph Aron then. Alongside is Jake Hughes. We look at the back end of the number 25 car, Mick Schumacher going from P11 on the grid. Schumacher finished P7 in race 1 yesterday. The number 3 car of our championship leader, Maximilian Günther, as the cars roar away now. Green lights. And I suspect with the showers overnight, Alex, that just possibly if you go offline to try and make an overtake, if you go offline, that is where it potentially could still be a little damp on this track surface.
Yeah, we'll see if we can again an aerial view. We'll see this. One is a dry line, the racing line. And a little bit on the side, still a little bit damp, a little bit humid from this shower. So the drivers will need to take a little bit care, like we say now, for example, here in the inside, this is really inside of the corner, but also in the inside of corner 1, we saw some damp places. So the driver will need to take care, especially on the start, that they arrive all together into the pack of corner 1. We see now, for example, the outside line of corner 1 also damp. So yeah, it's going to be hard for the drivers to get that line right.
Here's the grid once again for you in graphics. Aron Hughes, front row. Then it's Günther and Norris. Daravala, Piquet. Then it's Nui Mazepin, Guan Yu Zhu. And then we see Joel Eriksson, Mick Schumacher, Callum Eilert, David Beckman, Habsburg, Sato, Mawson, Makino, Andres then. So we've gone through the grid. The engineers then, and the blue coats cover the Trevor Carlin engineer team down there. Trevor Carlin, of course, the head of the Carlin team. The other teams represented, though, of course, with the anxiety rising in all of those engineers ahead of the start of the race. So 2.3 kilometers this track, 33 minutes plus 1 lap is the race distance. And we await the final cars to come into the grid box, and once they do, we get the green flag from the marshal at the rear as we focus once again on Mick Schumacher going from P11 on the grid. And there is the Maximilian Günther car. The air temperature and track temperature almost identical at 19.1 degrees. So all the cars in their grid boxes. There is the green flag from the marshal at the rear. The P11, P12 cars of Schumacher and Eilert, teammates with Prema Power Team. Here comes the start sequence then. The lights go out, race 2 is underway. So as they all head towards turn number 1. It was a good start from Ralph Aron. Now down the outside, going into turn one, which means you go offline, but he's just able to tuck it back into P3. That was quite a daring move, wasn't it, from the Prima car of Maximilian Günther.
Oh, that's Lando Norris trying to go in the inside line of Maxi Günther.
Lando Norris really is a feisty racer, isn't he? And he's pressuring Maximilian Günther right in the early stages of this race. Now goes to the outside of Maximilian Günther. This is the fight for P3. There's a fight for P4-5 going on behind as well.
Also Nelson Piquet defending from Daravala.
Pedro Piquet then also working very, very hard. Here come the cars then again. Lando Norris just diving to the inside, trying to find a way past Maximilian Günther. Looks like he really has got the pace on the car, but he's got to try and find a gap within which he can put the car. And of course,
Mick Schumacher going really, really hard into the corner.
Whoa.
Yeah, and as we saw, this Pedro Piquet used the chance that Lando Norris was focused on Maxi Günther and get past him on the break into corner one.
So Lando Norris then, as I said, very much a feisty racer. He's actually ended up losing out. So the laps come so very quickly here at the Norisring, just 2.3 kilometers, and
the car Ferdinand Abso running wide. It's like we were talking at the beginning. There is one line. As soon as you go off with this line, you start to break in the damp place, in the damp side of the track. You're losing the grip. Now Lando Norris going in the inside of Pedro Piquet, trying to get revenge of that pass. Will he make it? Yes.
Oh no, he just run wide.
He ran wide a little bit. I think he touched the curb, and the curb is a little bit damp and losing the front of the car.
Well, you could see when he went to the inside how much spray he kicked up, and that really reinforces your point that there is damp areas, as we see Joel Eriksson trying to make progress as well. Of course, whilst all this is going on, what it's doing is playing into the hands of Ralph Aron, who's untroubled at the front, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Ralph Aron had a little bit of gap. Now we see again Lando Norris getting back into the inside of Pedro Piquet. Let's see if he gets now the...
Oh, and he shuts the door, doesn't he?
Switchback, yeah.
He really did shut the door then, said, right, this is it, I've come through and I'm making this place mine now. Here comes Piquet once again. What a fantastic battle between the two of them. Slightly slower Lando Norris now, but has he got the inside? Is Piquet going to shut the door now? Will there be contact between the two of them? Yes, there is. Just the wheels rubbed, didn't they? And Piquet loses out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's whereas this little contact plays in the hands of Jason Daravala, which now gets past Piquet. So see now if Piquet can get it back, and we'll see now the replay of the start.
And you just watch, Lando Norris was, at one point, was almost hugging the wall. So as all the cars get away.
Really clean start, have to be said. Yeah, some small lock-up of Lando Norris, managed to stick it in the inside.
And then he was absolutely side by side, wasn't he? Got the inside line through that turn, but that of course becomes the outside line for the next turn. There's Rennie Rossen and the Prema Power team looking on at what their drivers are doing, and in particular Maximilian Günther, who was under attack from Lando Norris, and then that was you picked that up straight away. Mick Schumacher with a real flyer down there, wasn't it?
He was braking on the damp side of the racetrack, so locking the tires and losing the grip. We see now again the pass of Lando Norris into Pedro Piquet, really tight. Pedro Piquet close the door, make it tight for Lando Norris. Lando Norris has to go over the curb, jumping a little bit, but no major damage for both of them.
And Lando now has left the other two just behind him, hasn't he? And he's gapped just a little bit. So Lando Norris is running in P4, and he's got to try and get on terms now with Maximilian Günther, who's getting ever so close now to Jake Hughes. The one that's untroubled is the front runner, which is Ralph Aron. There in P2 is the Jake Hughes car, who of course led the race for so long yesterday in race one. He's hoping to make amends today. And he has got Maximilian Günther, though, the points championship leader for company, running in P3. So through the Scholler S they go. There is Lando Norris, who's just escaped from Jihan Daravala, and then it's Pedro Piquet and Harrison Newey as P7 with Nikita Mazepin, Guan Yu Xu, and Joel Eriksson is into the points by being in P10 now.
Yeah, we'll see Maxi Günther can keep the pace he has and chase down Jake Hughes. So, which car number is that with the broken front nose? Is that Nikita Mazepin? I think he has the...
Here comes Maximilian Günther. Now will he try and get the switch back and try and go underneath Jake Hughes, but it's nothing like close enough. It's really, really difficult there, isn't it? To be on the outside and then switch to the inside, because you lose momentum, don't you, if you're on the outside line going into turn number 1, the Grundig turn.
Yeah, exactly. You need to try this switch back. The other car has to mostly do any mistake or something similar, because it's really slow, so you cannot really, like you said, carry that momentum to do the switch back at the exit of the corner.
And whilst these two are fighting, of course, this is allowing Lando Norris to get back into that battle, isn't it? It's the battle for P3, and it's at the moment with Maximilian Günther, but Jake Hughes, he's under pressure for P2. That's what Maximilian Günther really wants to do, so he can then chase down Ralph Aron, who is leading this race. Lando Norris late on the brakes. There is Maximilian Günther then, and again, through that turn, you're just not able to get the momentum to get to the inside. So into the Scholler S.
I will see Nikita Mazepin with a loose front wing. I think he will have to stop.
He will have to come in for that.
He overshoot already twice the corner 1, the braking. Of course, he's probably missing, and he's missing some aerodynamic into his car. So I think he will have to, unfortunately, to pit and either change the nose or retire from the race. Yeah, that nose is getting really loose. You can hear from here touching into the ground.
Good impression of the noise. Yeah, well done.
Oh, locked for Jake Hughes.
And that's just the mistake, isn't it, that Maximilian Günther is looking for? Was Maximilian Günther able to take advantage of it? No, not quite. But Jake Hughes is really under pressure now. And in the meantime, Maximilian Günther is going to be under pressure also from Lando Norris, because Lando Norris is right on the gearbox now of Maximilian Günther. So all of a sudden, as these two have been fighting over P2, that has allowed Lando Norris to get back into this battle once again. So Jake Hughes then can ill afford to make any errors at all, because Maximilian Günther, like a viper, is just ready to pounce. There is the failing front wing of the number 99 car of Nikita Mazepin. I think he just pulled into the pit lane.
Yeah, he got a black and orange flag, so he had to pit.
Lando Norris then, who also now has Daravala and Piquet back into that, and Harrison Newey. It's not going to be long before from P7 he's into that battle as well.
See again the replay, Ralph Aron locking the front right tire. Yeah, and as you said, now we have a pack from P2 to P6.
Yes.
And this is playing in the hands of Ralph Aron, which is now pulling a good gap of 1.3, 1.5 seconds.
Yes, that's a really comfortable margin that he has. So, and there is Nikita Mazepin, who for High Tech GP has had the nose reaffixed or replaced and is back out again. Now, of course, in this situation, he's going to be right at the back of the pack, but Nikita Mazepin back out on the track. Ralph Aron continuing to lead with a 1.1 second margin over Jake Hughes. Then it's Maximilian Günther in P3. Lando Norris is P4. Xian Daravala is P5. Then it's Piquet Newey. Guan Yu Zhu. Joel Eriksson is P9. David Beckman is P10. Through the Scholler S's they go. Harrison Newey really catching this pack now. From his P7 position. And they're left there. We can see it's almost the second pack of cars, isn't it, with Guan Yu Zhu leading that in P8, interestingly.
Yeah, we watched the Joel Eriksson doesn't have the rhythm he had yesterday on the race. Struggling to get into the front road positions as easy as he got it yesterday.
Okay. So they're into the Grundig turn once again. Joel Eriksson right onto the back end of the Jake Hughes car, but as Alex points out, it just doesn't seem to have quite the rhythm. We've had one or two real attempts at Jake Hughes, and one of those brought about by a small error from Jake Hughes, but Maximilian Günther was not able to capitalize on that. So they run off the tarmac onto that concrete paved area here. Of course, this street circuit, Norisring, it's used by the public as a highway during the course of most of the year. Just one weekend every year it gets converted into this phenomenally challenging 2.3 kilometer Norisring circuit. There is Pedro Piquet then in car number 5, running in P6. On the back of that pack, as you can see, ahead of Piquet is Xian Daravala. And there, though, is Jake Hughes, the man that's running in P2 at the moment, being chased down by Maximilian Günther. And Joel Eriksson is P9. Going into this weekend, there was a four-way fight for the championship between Maximilian Günther, Joel Eriksson, Callum Eilert. And the top four in the championship now, Günther, Eriksson, Eilert, and Lando Norris is P4. It's P4 in this race at the moment as well, as we catch the back end of his car now across the start-finish straight there. The gap at the front is remaining pretty constant at just about a second, as now Maximilian Günther turns up the wick once again. Oh, Lando Norris with a bold move. Is he going to lose a place here? No. Thankfully, he had enough margin, didn't he, that that attempt going around the outside didn't cost him too dearly in terms of a place, but it certainly cost him time on track. So
pretty late run, a little bit wide. But as you said, he was with a little bit of margin to Daruvala. Fans delighted. Yeah, let's see now, because Maxi Günther is pretty close, or getting closer and closer again to Jake Hughes.
Can you, and this from a racing driver perspective, you know, when you're chasing down P2, as Maximilian Günther is now, is it best to have a couple of really concerted efforts over a couple of laps and then ease off just for a couple of laps? I'm not talking about relax, you can never do that, but then refocus and then have another go, because of course he's in this awful position where he's not only trying to attack Jake Hughes ahead of him, but he has to defend from Lando Norris as well, so he's in a really difficult position almost, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy position, but we also saw yesterday Maxi Günther driving pretty smart. He ran out of trouble into the battle between Jake Hughes and Lando Norris, and at the end he got profit about it. So we will see now what happened. Maybe he's waiting a little bit, letting the other cars scrub a little bit more the tires, wait for the sun degradation to make some attack, or just attack when he's sure that he can pull a maneuver and do an overtake maneuver, because he's there but he's not close enough. We'll see now again on the braking. You see it's still like one car length.
Lando Norris, though, is the king of the late breakers, isn't he? He always closes up, braking going into that Grundig turn. Lando Norris, who is P4. There, the number 31 car being chased down by Jihan Daruvala. Then it is Pedro Piquet and Harrison Newey. Here is this battle for P2, though, that has continued to rage between Jake Hughes and Maximilian Günther. And at the moment, Alex, you're absolutely right. Günther just cannot seem to find that additional tenth he needs to really attack Jake Hughes. Of course, what would play into their hands is if they were all able to get on terms with Ralph Aron, because then all of a sudden they're backed into a situation where they are all much closer. But Ralph Aron is really managing this perfectly, I would suggest, you know, because he's always keeping it at 1 second or 1.1, 1.2. That's kind of the margin that Ralph Aron has got at the moment, and he's not making any errors at all, is he? Yeah,
we see the lap times are pretty close, and like you're saying, no error, no mistake. He has a pretty comfortable gap of 1 second, 1.5 seconds. We see just Maxi Günther and Jake Hughes lapping a few tenths. Even last lap was just only 1/10 faster than Ralph Aron. So we see that he's managing his gap. He's in a comfortable position, but still we have 19 minutes to go, so it's still a pretty long race.
Yes, it is. So then, as they cross the timing line, there you can see the margin has stayed at 1 second between Aron and Hughes. Then Günther, Norris, Daruvala, Piquet, Newey, and Guan Yu Zhu rounding out the top 8 as Lando Norris gets ever so close to Maximilian Günther there under braking. And this is the very thing that I was talking about, where Maximilian Günther is in that position where he is trying to chase down Jake Hughes. At the moment, he's not close enough to be able to do so, and that allows Lando Norris to get ever closer. And Jihan Daruvala's not far behind either. So through goes Ralph Aron, untroubled. Jake Hughes P2, Maximilian Günther P3, Lando Norris P4. There is Mick Schumacher, who's out of the points at the moment, running in P12. We just saw images of Callum Eilert, who's P10. And it's Beckman, then it is Schumacher. Joel Eriksson is P9. That first back of 4, 5, 6, 7 cars have really broken away. So now Ralph Aron has extended his margin by a tenth or so from the rest of the chasing cars. What a great shot that is as the camera is mounted on the wall, and you can see just how close these drivers get to that concrete wall, which, trust me, is very unforgiving. As,
did Maxi Günther do a mistake?
Well, Lando Norris has got past him, hasn't he? We didn't see that live. Lando Norris with the inside line, Maximilian Günther on the outside. So Lando Norris then, I'm convinced we didn't see that happen.
No, I haven't seen any maybe getting out replay. But somehow Maxi Günther did a mistake and Lando Norris got past him.
So Lando Norris now is P3. And I just think we will really see Lando close in on Jake Hughes now, and it will be a repeat of the battle that we saw yesterday, although it will be for P2 rather than P1.
Yeah, I hope it ends up better than it would.
Well, of course.
Yesterday, but
also would like to see the overtake. Where did Lando Norris get past Maximilian Günther? So into the Grundig turn.
Yeah, it's Maxi's losing pretty much.
Yeah, now perhaps that's it.
Yeah, maybe some mechanical failure because it's lapping pretty slow.
Gian Duravala is right on him now, isn't he? So you can see how Lando Norris has just left him in his wake, and now Maximilian Günther falls prey to Gian Duravala potentially. So Maximilian Günther running in P4 currently. And Duravala, as of course Pedro Piquet for company in P6. So Aron then with a 1.6 second margin, but just, I did say that Lando Norris is going to be right on Jake Hughes. Here comes Lando Norris. He's got the inside line on Jake Hughes now. Surely Lando Norris will go through. King of the late breakers, he does go through. So that was a really good overtake from Lando Norris. He set that one up perfectly going into that Grundig turn.
Yeah, he was arrived to Jake Hughes and he didn't thought it 2 times. He just getting past him. So Lando Norris is showing now really strong pace in the race.
So now he has 1.6 seconds to reel in Ralph Aron. That is the margin between the race leader, Ralph Aron, and new P2 driver, Lando Norris, as they head towards the timing line now. Right, here in replay. Now, so that was the error. That was the error then, wasn't it? From Maximilian Günther. That allowed Lando Norris to go through.
Yeah, locked up the wheels and had to run wide.
But he does seem to have lost a bit of pace since then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In fairness, Duravala has not been able to find his way past.
But also Jake Hughes lost some power. He was some performance. He was pretty much in front of Lando Norris, and Lando Norris managed to approach him pretty fast.
Well, the final 14 minutes of this race could be a real race on for the win, couldn't it? Ralph Aron then. P1, Lando Norris is P2. There is Gian Duravala chasing down the Maximilian Günther car. Behind Duravala is Pedro Piquet, who's running in P6. The P7 car is Harrison Newey, then it's Guan Yu Zhu for the Prema Power team going from P8. So how quickly can Lando Norris get on terms with Ralph Aron? He's taken a couple of tenths out. We have 13 3/4 minutes left of this race. As Duravala and Piquet here. Piquet just turning the wick up now on Gian Duravala. So around the final turn, heading towards the start-finish straight. Our focus is on the number 5 car of Pedro Piquet for Van Amersfoort Racing. Again, Ralph Aron just loses a little bit of time to Lando Norris. The margin is down to just 1.3 seconds now.
we have Lando Norris is lapping now fastest sector times of the race. Last sector 1, 2/10 faster than Ralph Aron.
So he has 12 3/4 minutes to close down that gap. It's all very well closing down the gap. He's then got to find a way past, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. First he needs to arrive, and once he arrived, he needs to pass Ralph Aron. We'll see if first he managed to arrive, and once he managed to arrive, how quick or how much time it takes him to get past Ralph. The last lap, the gap was reduced from 1.3 to 1.1 seconds. So that means Lando Norris getting closer.
The Callum Ilott car there is running in P10. Ahead of Callum Ilott then is the car of Joel Eriksson. Oh, so close to that concrete wall as they run onto the paving slabbed area here. And Joel Eriksson then P2 in the points going into this race, being chased down by Callum Ilott, who is P3 in the points. It's down to 1 second now, the margin between Ralph Aron and Lando Norris. Then it's Hughes, Gunther Daravala, Piquet Nui, and then it is Guan Yu Zhu P8 before we see that battle that we were watching between Joel Eriksson and Callum Ilott. David Beckman and Mick Schumacher and Joey Mawson occupying the next 3 places. So there is proof of what's happening between Ralph Aron and Lando Norris, and it's clearly visible to us on screen now how much closer Lando Norris is to Ralph Aron. So whilst we've been saying for the entire race that Ralph Aron has been managing the margin quite comfortably, it would appear all of a sudden he has this feisty Lando Norris car getting ever closer to him. The Carlin driver is beginning to reel him in like he's on the end of a fishing line.
0.6 seconds now, the gap between Ralph Aron and Lando Norris, so that means it's getting closer and closer. So I'm really sure we'll see some battle between both of them for P1 of the race. And if they slip too much or they battle too much, then we may have the situation that Jake Hughes is also approaching, so then we will have a full battle for the podium of the race.
Well, certainly at the moment, P1 and P2 have broken away from the rest of them, haven't they? But now, again, Lando Norris taking more time out of the Ralph Aron car. And he is within pouncing distance now, isn't he? So all of a sudden, the relatively comfortable time that Ralph Aron had, because he was being untroubled at the front, well, the race is on for the final 10 minutes of this race as Lando Norris chases down that Ralph Aron car now. Heading to the Grundig turn. And again, under braking, Norris just gets a little bit closer. And those two really have broken away, as I said, from the battle that's going on for P3, 4 and 5 and beyond, as our camera zooms in on the Joel Eriksson, Callum Ilott battle that is going on. There's a battle there, and that battle is for P9. This battle that we're watching now is for P1 between Ralph Aron and Lando Norris. So very nearly touching the concrete as they come out of that turn. I don't think Lando is quite close enough now to have a go into the Grundig turn unless he can make it up over the final part of this straight. Lando Norris now, as Joel Eriksson and Callum Ilott continue. Lando Norris again right on the gearbox of the Ralph Aron car, but don't think he was quite close enough on that particular occasion. Into the Choleres they go now. All of a sudden, the pressure will mount on Ralph Aron. And, of course, what Lando Norris will be hoping for is that he can pressure Aron into making just a small error. That's all he needs, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He needs a small lockup, a small run away from Ralph Aron to get past him. But I'm really sure if in the next 3-4 laps we see no mistake from Ralph Aron, Lando Norris will end up trying overtake maneuver into the inside somewhere on the race, or probably either last turn or turn 1.
As they go over the timing line, it's just 3/10 between them. So Aron then, perfect execution of turn 1. Lando Norris tucked in behind in the number 31 car, running in P2. And you know that the focus for Lando Norris is in pushing and trying to make Ralph Aron make an error. Hasn't done so thus far. And as Alex alongside me has said, whether he makes a mistake or whether he doesn't make a mistake, you can be sure that Lando is going to try and find a way past somehow. Slightly closer to him now, potentially, as they cross the timing line. Right, talk us through this as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, as you're Lando Norris now going again to the inside, showing his nose to Ralph Aron, maybe like you were saying before, trying to provocate, to tease him to do this mistake.
Well, you could see that Lando dived to the inside, showed the inside to Ralph Aron, who then made sure that he covered the line. So Lando then went to the outside. All this pressure mounting on Ralph Aron now as Lando Norris is right on him, just trying to provoke that small error. That's all he will need. But to be fair to Ralph Aron, driven impeccably so far, and every opportunity that Lando Norris has tried to seize, well, Ralph Aron has had the better of him as they cross the timing line once again here, going in towards the Grundig turn, turn number 1. This is potentially his best opportunity to try a move. Tries to sell him a dummy by going to the outside, but then the inside is so well covered by Ralph Aron that again they go through the Grundig turn, and it remains P1 for Ralph Aron, P2 for Lando Norris, but Lando really is mounting still further pressure. They're almost touching as they go through the Scholler S. Out onto the concrete paved area on the exit of the Scholler S, heading into the next turn through this kink now here at the 2.3 kilometer circuit. Then heavy braking through that turn, and all of a sudden, in the space of but 48 seconds, a lap is done here at the Norisring. That's how quickly it is, and we only have 6 minutes left for this battle to continue, and for Lando Norris to try and convert his current P2 position into P1. To be fair, Aaron is driving it perfectly, isn't he? He's blocking every opportunity. Well, not blocking, but he's defending every opportunity.
Yeah, he's making a brilliant job at the moment. He did a really good start of the race, pulled away, and now that he's battling with Lando Norris, he's closing the gaps, closing the doors, denying the position to Lando Norris. But I'm really sure Lando will not stay behind. He will try to get past Ralph Aron for the first position of this race.
And of course, whilst these two are fighting, that is allowing Jake Hughes, Maximilian Günther and Gian Daravala to get a little bit closer to this battle for P1. Here comes Lando Norris once again. Not quite close enough on this occasion to have a go. And there you can see the P3, 4 and 5 cars getting closer now to this battling P1 and P2 position, which is held currently by Ralph Aron and Lando Norris.
Yeah, we will have to see if they really manage to get close to them. I'm not so sure with 4 minutes 45 seconds
running
to go.
out.
The time is running out, and the pace of them, they are not so strong. They are not way stronger than the pace of Ralph Aron and Lando Norris. But for sure, if they try to get more involved between each other, between Lando Norris and Ralph Aron, they might still approach them.
Just 4.5 minutes remaining as once again Lando Norris reels in, or tries to reel in, the Ralph Aron car as they head down towards the Grundig turn. Once again, Ralph Aron, again, perfectly executed through the Grundig turn. Aron, Norris, Hughes, Günther, Daravala, Piquet, Newey, Zhu, Ericsson, Eilert, then it's Beckman and Schumacher and Mawson occupying the next positions. There you can see Mick Schumacher, who's running in P12. He has Beckman ahead of him. There is René Rossin from the Prema Power team looking on. In the meantime, here is the battle for P1, which is continuing to rage over the final 3.5 minutes of this race. Now, Lando Norris, once again, really close to that Ralph Aron car. He's going to go for another attempt here, that's for sure, because he is so close now. He's on the gearbox almost to the Ralph Aron car. Looks for the inside. That's defended by Aron, and Aron is being really forceful in terms of his defending. Lando Norris tries to go around the outside. It's never going to work. That was the perhaps the biggest attack that we've seen from Lando Norris. Here he comes again, going towards the Scholler S. Is there going to be wheel banging between the two of them? Lando Norris on the inside just has to dial out of it because Ralph Aron has got the measure of him. But again, Lando Norris is still trying. He's really putting the pressure on. The cars are side by side, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Now he has the really inside line, so this looks really good for Lando Norris when this allows Jake Hughes to approach them fully. So now we have really battle for P1, P2, P3 for the last 2 minutes 45 seconds.
So we have a change of the lead then. Lando Norris, after lap of trying to do so, does get past Ralph Aron. And now Ralph Aron has got the real fight on to maintain P2 because, as Alex has said, Jake Hughes is right on him now, but he's not given up on Lando Norris. This is a real fight over the final stages of this FIA Formula 3 European Championship race. What a race Race 2 is in the final stages as Lando Norris leads from Ralph Aron, who had led so many laps of this race but fell prey to the Lando Norris car in the final stages. So Norris leads from Aron. Then it is Jake Hughes and Maximilian Gunter. There's a little lock-up from Jake Hughes. That's just what, from Ralph Aron rather, that's just what Jake Hughes wanted.
Yeah, and this plays at the advantage of Lando Norris, which now get a little bit of gap in front, and Jake Hughes get past Ralph Aron, which is Ralph Aron is not giving up on this position for sure. He's trying on the outside of Jake Hughes, braking both side by side. Good inside line for, oh, Maxi Gunter is getting profit of this.
So he is just sitting back there waiting to take advantage of this fight that's going on, and Maximilian Gunter now is fighting for P3.
Oh, the car of Ralph Aron has a broken nose. It's a broken nose. We can see the nose line on the front left side.
So Ralph Aron then, you're quite right, that nose is down, isn't it, on the right-hand side as we look at it. How much of an impact will that have on the pace of the car, Alex?
Yeah, this is with this car, which aero is pretty much everything. It's really hard to drive with a nose like this. You start to block in your front tires, you're losing a lot of grip. So I'm really sure we will see now Ralph Aron struggling to do on the brakes even already. But you see, go! Oh. Exactly what I said. You see how much downforce, how much grip you lose with a broken front nose.
He's gone from P1 to P5 in the space of just 3 or 4 laps, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's like we were saying, you can be here with 5 minutes to go, leading by 1 second, and it's still not yet. Doesn't mean anything. Well,
the whole face of this race has changed over the last 5 minutes or so. Ralph Aron much further down the order than he would like to be, with that broken nose now really impacting on the aero of the car. Lando Norris is up the road by some 8/10 over Jake Hughes. Then it's Maximilian Gunter for P3. Daruvala is P4, and Ralph Aron is P5, having led for so many laps. And we will have just 2 more laps of this FIA Formula 3 European Championship race, which has delivered so much drama right in the final stages of the race.
We'll see now maybe the contact again.
So where did he lose? Or where did the nose become detached?
There was already.
It's there, isn't it? It's already down, isn't it? So the replay's there.
Now we see, of course, he tried to go on the brake, but he doesn't have the performance. He locks and go away.
Whoa. So Lando Norris then on the final lap then, with a second's margin over Jake Hughes at P2. Maximilian Gunter is P3. And Lando Norris just kept the pressure on, didn't he? And eventually that pressure did pay off. And it, all barring disaster now, should go the way of Lando Norris as he heads towards the checkered flag here at the Norisring. Lando Norris wins race 2. P2 goes the way of Jake Hughes. Then it's Maximilian Gunter to take P3. Jihan Daruvala P4. Ralph Aron is P5. Pedro PK is P6. Harrison Newey P7, Guan Yusu P8, Callum Eilert P9, and Joel Eriksson P10. And congratulations there on the Carlin pit wall for this man, Lando Norris, that takes the win at the Norisring. And Rennie Rossin from Prema Power Team there. Oh, I tell you what, just over the last few laps, Alex, what an exciting race.
Yeah, really, really exciting, really amazing to see the change of position, the battle between these guys today with no major contact, no major accident as we had yesterday. So really, really nice, beautiful to see, nice battle, nice chasing downs, nice switchback maneuvers. As you said, amazing performance and amazing end of the race.
Confirmation of the result then. Lando Norris taking the win from Jake Hughes, P2. Maximilian Gunter was P3. Gian Daravala, P4. Then it was Ralph Aron, Pedro Piquet, Harrison Newey, Guan Yu Zhu, Callum Eilert, and rounding out the top 10 was Joel Eriksson. Then we found David Beckman, Mick Schumacher, Joey Mawson, Tadazuki Makino, Ferdinand Habsburg, Marino Sato, Kevin Andres, and Nikita Mazepin. Then, of course, we saw in the pit lane having to have the nose of his car replaced earlier on. Here it is again. That is enormous pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, we see now the replay again. Lando Norris going left, right, putting nervous Ralph Aron, staying on the outside.
And he got the momentum, hadn't he, to now.
Now Ralph Aron tried to defend, my opinion, maybe a little bit too much. Lando Norris though the outside line here, provoking a little bit of downforce, and then Ralph Aron runs really wide on the concrete and losing some momentum on the outside, which led to Lando Norris to go in the inside line from the last corner and get the position back.
Well, what great racing from the Formula 3 drivers that we've seen out here on the Norisring circuit. The drivers will be heading up to the podium in due course, and you will see Lando Norris, Jake Hughes, and Maximilian Gunter. And of course, Lando Norris, double bubble for him on the top step of the podium, best rookie as well.
Yeah, really, really good performance from him. Really good, especially in the middle of the race. Was a moment where he was P4, and all of the sudden he passed Maxi Gunter, he passed Jake Hughes, and passed finally Ralph Aron. So amazing rhythm in the middle of the race for him.
He really is. And you know, I said this earlier on in the program. He's one of these drivers that's got some real fire about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
You almost get the impression that, you know, it's either going to be P1 or nothing. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is what we saw yesterday. Even he was really attacking hard on Jake Hughes. Finally, Jake Hughes ended up colliding with a wall. But like you said, it's you see also when he's doing this switch in the main straight, switch left, right.
In the Drivers' Championship then, Maximilian Gunter now on 218 points is P1. Joel Eriksson is P2. And Lando Norris now overtakes Callum Eilert in the championship and finds himself P3. So slowly but surely, stealth-like, he's creeping up in that Drivers' Championship, isn't he? And bear in mind, from here, we have another race to come as we look at slow-mos of the top three. And from the Norisring, we head off to Spa, then Zandvoort, Nuremberg, Spielberg, and then, of course, the grand finale at Hockenheim. So there's a lot of racing still to come as we look at the super slow-mo of the P2 driver for High-Tech GP. That's Jake Hughes. But taking the win and doing it in impressive style as well is the number 31 car of Lando Norris for Carlin. He wins race number 14 in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, and we will be seeing him on the top step of the podium. As I said, even early on here on the Sunday, where the weather is not quite as kind as it has been in parts. It's a bit overcast at the moment, but still a goodly crowd here to enjoy the race action that we've seen from the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, with another race to come from the Formula 3 cars a little bit later on today. And they're all awaiting the podium right now, as are we. Lando Norris, Jake Hughes, Maximilian Gunter, the drivers that we'll see up there on the podium. Just before 3 o'clock this afternoon is their race 3. The grid has already been set for that race through qualifying yesterday, because qualifying 2 sets the grid for race 2 and for race 3. And we'll see Maximilian Gunter, because he took the second fastest lap, and that's how the race 3 grid is won. It's your second fastest lap in quali 2. Look how happy the Carlin team were on their pit wall. Of course, we hear this said often, that it's as important for the teams. They share the victories and they share the spoils, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's a team effort. It's not only the driver, the one who is there outside. It's a team effort. Mechanics, engineers, everyone is involved. And of course, when you win, everyone wins together. When you lose, everyone loses together. So they also enjoy when you are on the top step of the tournament. You can hear it now cheering.
So Lando Norris then wins the race, wins the rookies as well. Top three rookies, Lando Norris for P1, Gian Daravala who finished the race P4, and then it'd be Mick Schumacher, P12. He was the third best rookie, if you like. So P1 and P2 on the podium, and here comes Maximilian Günther then to occupy step 3 and national anthem time. Well done, Lando Norris then. The Hankook baseball cap with P1 goes back on his head as Marcel Hofmeyer makes the trophy presentation to Lando Norris. As we mentioned earlier, the teams win and lose with you. As Thomas Dill makes the trophy presentation to the Carlin team, whose driver, of course, P1. How much of a real boost to the team is to take a win? Because there's almost as much of a competition between the teams, isn't there, as there is the drivers?
Yeah, I mean, in the paddock, let's say everyone is friend, but obviously when you're on the racetrack, you wanna win, you wanna be the best one, you wanna show you did the best job, and exactly as you say, the team always is happy when you're at the top step of the podium. They also do a lot of job when they're in the workshop, back in their home country. So as you said, it's also enormous feeling for the team when the drivers get a win.
And of course, it's really great to see, isn't it, on the podium, Jake Hughes taking his trophy for P2, that for High Tech GP. So Carlin, High Tech, and also Prema Power Team all represented up there on the podium. So 3 different teams, and the drivers come forward now to have their photographs taken before time for the champagne. Well, there's not a positive rush for it, but Günther there was the quickest, and we're going to bring you the rookie podium as well. It's really interesting, isn't it, how the podium celebrations are either really, really good and entertaining, or they can sometimes be a bit dull.
Lando Norris has an endless bottle. He's never finishing of spraying. I want to have this for my next race.
Richie there holding the microphone, who's doing the trophy presentations. We'll just get someone with a mop, I think, to come and just clean up that podium before the rookie podium. And there you can see new bottles of champagne being put onto the podium steps, and there in super slow-mo, the Carlin engineer really getting it there. You build up a bond, don't you, with your engineer, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. It's
and
really
how that really is quite critical, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really important to have a connection with your engineer. It's let's say you are the driver, but it's also your hand or your feet when you are out on the racetrack.
Yeah.
The one is on the radio telling you all the information you need, and like you said, you usually build a really good relationship with him, and you have to work with him like a proper team together, and
sure,
and have. Not only usually, I have to say, from all my engineers I had, after a season, we are not only, let's say, work-related, we also became friends. And
yeah. You say all the engineers because you've been through quite a few, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because you fall out with them. I mean, you're a difficult guy to get along with. Well, here we are then. And fresh from his soaking, he's back on the top step again for being the best rookie. Then we see Gian Daravala. And, of course, we will also see Mick Schumacher actually finished the race. P12 was the third best rookie. So national anthem will play out once again for Lando Norris. So Lando Norris then on the top step once again, but this time it is for the rookie podium. Russell Hoffmeyer once again making the trophy presentations, and they're really rather nice trophies here at the Norisring. So again, Carlin based in Aldershot in the UK. Gian Daravala then receives his, and then finally it'll be Mick Schumacher to receive his trophy now. Much a learning year for Mick Schumacher in Formula 3, having come into this from the German Formula 4 Championship. Another, very much like Lando Norris in terms of character, very, very feisty racer is Mick. And, come on, Gian, look, photo time. Well done. All three drivers then, the front of the podium, which, like everything else here at the Norisring, is a temporary structure. Well, that's a slightly underwhelming podium ceremony, because Lando Norris has already been covered, hasn't he? We take a look at the highlights then of what was an extraordinary race. And make sure you join us for race 3, which is 14:50 this afternoon, live from Norisring.